All right, welcome back to another video in this tutorial series. In this video, we're going to spend some time, in the last video, we spent some time almost completing this quantity filter where you can have specify how you're filtering it. So is the quantity equal, less than, greater, or between? We just have to finish the is between filter, so we'll have to add another input. So we'll finish that today, and then we're going to dive into maybe like a drop-down filter so you can filter the schools by category. So to start, let's double check. So it's equal to, I don't think we actually did the exact one, did we? Yeah, there's no way exact is working. So we have to fix is exact and is between. Let's do exact first. That should be relatively easy. The reason it probably isn't working is because I believe if we look at the request right here, there's no underscore. So we're just like sending the wrong parameter, so it's a front-end issue. If we go to our schools table, get school page, which is on the parent element, so it's probably here. I know it's back. Where do we create the filter? On filter changed. Within here, within the quantity table filter, that makes sense. So here we just need an underscore exact, I believe. And if we go back here, do a little refresh, and we say there is 2 students in the school, there we go, we just get 1. And then I think the other one is 1. That changed, right? Yeah, perfect. So for is between, we're going to need an additional input, which means here we'll have to add value. Oh, our quantity. Okay. I'm going to change value to, how often are we going to have multiple values? Because sometimes we'll have 2 inputs, sometimes we'll have 1. I'm just going to create a new one called upper value for now, for that upper value. Okay, and then that's what this one can be. Upper value. This is kind of hard to read, so let's break this down onto lines. Should really get a formatter to do this for me, but at some point we will do that. Set upper value. This one is also type number. And this one is only displaying if the method, where do we set method? What value do we actually save? Method options. All right, so we're going to turn this into a constant so that we can use this somewhere else. So now we can say only show this, and then we do a is between filter, and that's the case if the method.value is equal to is between. Oh, we're storing, we don't, so method is the value. So now down here we can say if we're using the in-between filter, then we can show this additional input. Let's see if that works to start. So is between, now we've got two inputs. We can update one, update the other, and click apply. And what that did was it used the between filter. What did it actually send? Oh, I see. So it only used the regular value and just used is between. You can see set applied method, so that's what we're doing. Okay, so creating this filter string doesn't quite work in all cases, right? By default, that's what the filter is going to be. That's like your kind of stereotypical example. But maybe what we want to do is if method equals the in between, is the in between? Yeah, is between. If that's the case, then the filter string is actually going to look like something like, where's it getting name from? All right, okay, yeah, up there. It'll be something like name to lowercase. And the method, we're just going to hard code it, so it's actually going to be so it has to be greater than or equal to value, but it also has to be less than or equal to that upper value, right? Perfect. All right, let's see what happens if we just do that. So do a little refresh, go here, is between, it's between 1 and 3. So what that did, if we look at the request, is you got students greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 3, which is exactly what we want. If we change it to something bizarre, like it's between 5 and 7, we'll get no results. Perfect. If we do between 3 and 8, we'll get no results. Oh, 2. And then if we do 1, we'll get both. Perfect. We're setting GTE or an LTE, which is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. I think the way we set up the filter is not that. So let's double check that. Oh no, we did. We should really, you know what we should do is let's get the number of students in this table so we can see it, because maybe I'm just not remembering how many students there are. So one thing we can do, and this might not be the best method right now, I'm not going to focus on like quality of serializer, but we're just going to create a custom field. So the serializer method field is exactly what it sounds like. It allows you to create a method to define the field. So you have to use the prefix get and then the name of the field you called it. Self is the serializer, object is the object. So for each object, we're actually just going to return the number of students. And then you can put this field in the serializer. Let's break this onto a new line. Perfect. And now if we go back here, we should just be able to, that data should just be returning. We can double check. We're doing a few too many steps that we probably should. Student count, number of students. I wonder if that is snake case. We should just be able to render that. Let's see what happens. So if we do a refresh, oh, there we are. So this one has 1 student, this one has 2. So we do equal to 1, we do get the 1. We get the 2 there. If we do greater than 2, okay, that includes the equals, perfect. But if we do between 1 and 2, oh, we get both. Between 2 and 5. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So they're all working as including equal to. So you could just change the language here. I might do it later, but for now, I'm just going to ignore it. Let's call that filter done, and let's move on to a dropdown filter. So to start, let's close all these. We're going to use like the same template as this guy. And I'm just going to copy everything we have in the quantity table filter, and I'm going to make a new select table filter. And we'll just go through this. So rename it. This pill wrapper component is probably going to be something we want to move, but we'll ignore it for now. So we'll keep the pill display on the card. We'll want to keep this apply button. We don't know what the contents of this is going to be. Well, we know it's going to be select statement, so let's actually keep that. Is between filters not used, fair enough. Select table filter. So some of these things could probably be moved into their own location. Method options, like the options in the dropdown, are going to be passed in, so we can remove that. This doesn't exist, so we can remove that. Upper value does not exist. So this will probably have name, options, and apply filter. Anytime you see method options, I'm just going to change that. I don't think we'll have a method and an option, because when you're doing a select, you're always just selecting. There isn't a lot of complexity around that. So we are going to do something like that for now. We'll figure it out. And then there's probably only going to be an applied option. There won't be an applied value as well. So we can do that as well. Getting lots of errors right now. Option. The filter is probably going to look like name just equals the applied option, or the option. This is going to be const. Something like that. All right, let's get rid of that. And let's just get rid of that for now. And we just return the option here. Comment out that. This will be option, not method. All right, that's most of the errors gone. Options is not defined as a prop. So we're probably going to want a new prop here, which is like the option prop, or what an option look like. Perhaps an option always has a value, which is unique, which is a string, and like a display value, which is also a string. We're just assuming that for now, might change. It looks like the select wants a certain I think it wants a list of strings, so that can't be passed in there. So if we pass in like a list of objects which have a value, or like a key and the value, we just want the map for every option, just return the option.display. Oh, we want a list. Is that going to help it? Let's see what these option types are. What are we passing in our other filter? Value and label. Do you think that's what it wants? Value, label. And we probably don't need that anymore. There we go. So that's the type it wants. I think instead of doing this, we could actually import that type. If I'm not mistaken, for now I won't, but we'll get back to that. So let's just throw this in somewhere and see what happens. So let's import our select table filter. And beside our quantity table filter, this filter bar for schools is also going to have a select. The name is going to be categories? Sure. Or maybe category. Apply filter is going to do apply category filter. You can see like this almost does nothing, so we might be able to move that out. But actually, if we just we can save ourselves a bit of a headache by just doing that. And they also want options, right? So options is going to be, and here we go. Actually, we can finally get back our use selector, because in a previous video, way back when, we moved all of our constants or our categories into Redux. So now we're just pulling them in. Uncomment those. I knew I was going to use them again. So high school categories is our options. I don't know if they're the right format. If we go to our store, can we see the type on? All right, so they're just an object. But they're not quite just an object, right? Like they are. Actually, what are they? Should we check that before we jump ahead? Can I get a refresh on here? Constants is our requests. Okay, it's objects. So we might need to change the style of this in the backend so that we actually get something we want. So maybe let's do that, and let's just pair it up with the front end because we know how we want to use it. So maybe to explain that further, jump back here. The type we're expecting in that dropdown is value and label, but right now the backend is returning just weird undefined objects, essentially, like they don't have a type. So maybe the easiest way to fix that is to change our endpoint so that instead of a dictionary, we essentially want to take the, if you go look at this, so this is a list of tuples. We want to make the first item in each tuple the value, and then the second item in each tuple the label. What's the easiest way to do this? Let's do a little Google. Python define dictionary from tuple. right? Because what am I doing? I'm calling dict on like the whole thing, which is not what I want to do. Like for each item in the list, okay, this is for item in school dot high school category. Okay, so let's just print the tuple. Let's print what dict does the tuple. But essentially what we want to do is we want to make the value the first item, right? And then the label the second item in the tuple, because we know that that is the format of them. Too many blank lines, that rhyme. So if we do a refresh, that'll make that request. If we go to our console, we can see those print statements. Just kidding. Let's do that. Okay, well, that's essentially what we want to do, right? And maybe to keep it simple, we just do that. So we could define a method here, convert constants to drop down format. Really verbose name, but that's fine for now. And then so all we'll do is essentially for item in the constants, which we're going to pass in, option list, which is that. We're just going to do exactly what we did here. This is probably a really slow way of doing this too. So well, it might not be too bad because these constant lists aren't going to get too long. But let's just return option list here. So hypothetically, all we have to do is do that instead. And if we do a refresh and we look at our constants, now high school categories is a list of dictionaries. Where there's a value and a label. So now, if we go back to our store, which is somewhere, so now we can say this is more than an object, right? We can actually say that this is an option. And now that we're about to define this another time, let's actually use the option from the select statement from D. There's a proper way to do this. Okay, maybe let's not do that now, but we do want to define this interface, perhaps just in our interfaces, our types, so that we can use it later. And maybe we want to make this a bit more verbose, so this is like a drop-down option or a select option. And back here, wherever we took that from, I don't remember where I took it from. Here we are. Let's import select option. Okay, it does not. From types, and now we can use that there. And if we take this into our store as well, now we can find the type on our constants. Like that. Actually, I think, do I have that backwards? Go back to the store. I think that's fine. So now if we go to our drop-down filter, actually our school filter. So now this, after all of that, this is of type select drop-down. And now when you pass that into the select table filter, this doesn't complain anymore because this is the correct type right here. So if we just refresh, it doesn't look like we have any, we do have errors. Category filter is assigned value but never used. Oh, where else do we use high school categories? I believe. Is that complaining about in grade school? I didn't. No, it doesn't like it in school table filter. Can I like explicitly say what is option here? Oh, right, okay. Where am I going? Where am I going? Where am I going? If I go back here, can I just explicitly say like, hey, that's what this is? Is that gonna alleviate my issues? I think I've defined the type somewhere else as well. That's what it looks like. It keeps referring to this object type, but maybe let's just restart our front end. Okay. Oh no, complaint again. The type object is okay. Notice the type on that. Can I console log high school categories? Does it get? Yeah, it does get it off. All right, let's see if we can find something on the interwebs. I don't use type object anymore, right? If I search for oh, well, this is an error as well. This is our select option for creating a school. Also, did I call it high school categories? But it's not like one of the options is high school. It's funny. I think I can just map the value equals the value, key equals the value, and this equals the label. All right, fix that really quick. think it was just complaining about the code I just fixed. All right, don't I just do that there? Weird. Oh, there we go. Now, okay, so there was some weird refresh issue going on. So all it's complaining about now is that the filter's not used, which is in here. So now we can say just if, oops, that filter is not equal to nothing, then we can include it. All right, now we should have no errors. If I refresh the page, we click this and it's a drop down. Or if we click apply, it applies the element. And did it do anything? I think it probably didn't do anything. Okay. Let's see where that is not doing anything. So if we go to select table filter, apply filter, I should be calling set category filter. Oh, right. And when category filter changes with our use effect, call create the filter string, and then that should send something. So elementary, apply, category equals LM. And now we just need to add that filter to the back end. Let's get it. There's a little bit of oddness going on here. Let's fix that. Okay, so if we close all this, go back to the back end, go to our filters for schools. I wonder if we can just put, if we go to our school model, category is like a field that has values. I wonder if we can just put it right here, and because we're only doing exact, if it will just work. Also, if that's not working. Let's fix that really quick. So we go to our school table. All right, now we need to find this category where the value equals category, and then we need to get the label for it. Import this from types. There we go. So now if we filter by middle school and click apply, it works because it's just like a regular field. We're not doing anything too special. That's awesome. And there's no elementary schools right now. And well, two things I noticed. One, you can't clear a filter, so let's do that next. But two, you probably noticed that I keep calling it high school categories, just like everywhere. This is school categories, so let's just change that everywhere in the code base. And now it's not just high schools, it's elementary and middle schools. So make sure everything still runs after that. Awesome. Okay, so let's make that drop down full width as well. Oh, other thing. You can open up two filters at once, which is kind of odd. So whether that panel is shown or not is panel open, right? Maybe whether or not a panel is open should be controlled by the filter bar, since the filter bar will only ever want one open. It's an option. We'll go with that next. Okay, let's go back here. So that dropdown's full width. Let's see if we can get the other dropdown full width. If we go to the select dropdown, the quantity dropdown, let's see how different these are. They've got that width 100%. Weird. Did I forget like some styling? The card, small, top, position absolute with 200. Width 100%. It's not this like space thing that's causing it. There's no way. I could add a space thing here if we wanted. A little high in there. Okay, so apparently the card also needs to be width 100%. Or the space does. But why does that one not? I think if we just put width 100% in here, do a refresh. Oh, duplicate key width, right? Oh no, the panel has to have a fixed width, but if we do style width 100% here, is that what's causing it? Apparently. Okay. That's bizarre. So fix the width. Now on all of these, we're going to add like a clear filter button. Actually, maybe in the next video we'll do that because I'm going to check out Stripe and see what they do. I'm pretty sure it's just like a little X like on the filter, like right here. So once you apply it, then you have like a little X to click. So yeah, we'll do that in the next video, and then we'll also probably fix it so that you can't open multiple filter panels and then not close them. So thanks for tuning in. Got that drop-down filter mostly working, and now we're also probably gonna spend some time making this a bit more dry. You can see we're starting to repeat things between these two filters, so maybe we can create like a little reusable base table filter component or something, but we'll see. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.